What food do you think is overrated? I kinda hate huge burgers that you can't eat without everything falling on you or the plate. Like it's not a burger if you have to eat it with a knife and fork. Anything that resembles any of the output of this random foodie, hipster bar menu generator. http www.brooklynbarmenus.com/lobster. Maybe it's because I live where most of them come from. But people freak out about them. They aren't bad, but what makes them desirable is the price, not the taste. And what makes them expensive is how long it takes to catch, ship them. Not how good they are to eat. Gold flaking is kind of dumb. It doesn't really add anything other than an unnecessary garnish. This conversation is making me hungry. Fondant. Looks very nice if done correctly, tastes horrible. What's your most unpopular music opinion? Bad music can still be fun to listen to. I love polka and don't care who knows it. It infuriates me when people say something is bad, or someone is talentless. I don't like Ariana Grande, but she's far from talentless. It's just not my type of music. Rammstein should do a Christmas album. You can respect something without liking it. The two aren't related. I respect the obvious amount of work Lou Reed put into creating his noisescapes for metal machine music. Doesn't mean I want to listen to it, though. Just because I listen to emotional and depressive music does not make me depressed. What celebrity downfall did you actually feel bad for? Robin Williams. I have a mother with dementia and it's terrifying and soul-crushing to watch. Someone you love forget activities they used to love. Me and my sister have prepared for the worst, but that doesn't make it any easier. Prion disease can eat a bag or Richards along with cancers. River Phoenix. Brittany Murphy. Britney Spears. She was having a mental breakdown and the whole world was beating her further down. At the time it was sad to watch. Jake Lloyd. I was reading into what happened to him after watching Jingle All the Way, and recognizing him as a young Anakin Skywalker. Apparently Hollywood and the Star Wars franchise in particular really got to him, and he wound up being diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia. It's a shame learning of these unfortunate stories concerning child actors. You can't help but want to root for them. But the reality of their situation is often disappointing. Edit. I hear what you guys are saying in regards to schizophrenia, and all the different reasons it could manifest in a person. I wasn't suggesting that his role in Star Wars was the root cause of his psych history. Just pointing out the correlation with young Hollywood actors and the decline in mental health they tend to experience. Amanda Bynes. Child actor downfalls are sad because they're victims of their environment and shitty parents. ETA. There seems to be some debate on whether her parents were bad or not. Emo. They were terrible by exploiting her as a child and then didn't protect her, which led her to allegedly getting groomed by Dan Schneider. As of a few months ago, she also said on Twitter that her dad was abusive to her in every way possible, which led them to 5,150 her, and then she came back to redact her statements. That's really odd, don't you think? To all those who grew up in the 1990s, what was life like? Get home from school, lie and say I had no homework, go ride bikes or hang out in the treehouse with neighborhood kids until it got dark, go home, eat dinner, watch cartoons or play video games, lay in bed with anxiety because I didn't do my homework, rinse and repeat. It's hard for me to separate what was just rose-colored due to childhood or real. The world just felt safe. Technology seemed to be making things better and better. It's also weird to think that most people were not reachable at all times. Cell phones were just catching on, and even if you had one, you saved your minutes for emergencies or waited for nights, weekends, staying out playing in the front yard until dark. Yes, the cliché was true. We played Jurassic Park a lot and made up dances to the Spice Girls. My personal favorite was Ghost in the Graveyard. But it sounds like that may be a regional thing. Everything felt a lot more real. And a lot more wholesome. For the most part, mind you. I was a child back then, so I'm sure I'm biased. Things felt slower. Kids used to play outside whenever they could. And no one was ever using electronics outside. Except for the occasional Walkman. I preferred the houses back then a lot. Since they still had some semblance of beauty and color. Unless you were in a big city. Almost everyone had yards. There were a lot more trees everywhere. People weren't just constantly cutting down every single tree in every town for no reason. The average person's language skills were miles better than they are today. No social media. Which means all my fuck-ups are only captured on Polaroids and the mind of people slowly approaching dementia. Thank merciful Christ. The internet was slow as shit. Like it took 20 minutes to get online with dial-up. China's economy was still dominated by Hong Kong. And Russia looked like they were going to modernize into a real democracy. The president of the US played jazz on live TV. And hair gel sold faster than crack. Also, crack lol. We were definitely more optimistic than we are now. But maybe that was just delusions rather than fact. It's hard to tell sometimes if things were actually better. Or if I was just a kid who could enjoy the simple moments in life. Colorful. Unashamedly campy. And everything basically had that, your lame parents trying to impress your friends, vibe. And it worked. I was born in '87. But I grew up in the '90s. I miss that decade immensely. It was so laid back and carefree. As a child, everything now takes itself so fucking seriously. It's depressing. People who get out of bed quickly when they wake up, what's your secret? I don't think about it. That sounds insane and not helpful. But I built the habit of immediately getting out of bed when the alarm goes off. If I get up and out before I have a moment to think about the fact that it's ringing and I don't want to get up, then it's easier to do. I do the same thing for chores. If I just start doing it before I have a chance to think about it, it's easier to keep going. I set my alarm to the last possible minute. No time to dally. My dog's urgent need to pee. Have to pee. I have cats. They will make sure I'm awake and then they work together to make my remaining in bed an untenable option. Put the alarm in a place where you have to get out of bed to turn it off with the volume all the way up. Don't get back in bed. Subscribe, my brothers.